My name's Wes Lucas. I'm the principal instructor of Combat Company Richmond. I've been kickboxing for 23 years now. I've been under the same instructor for work time under Master Curtis Page, who's a former member of the British Laogar team from way back when the start of the freestyle movement and everything. And since then I've gone through K1, Ju-Jitsu, wrestling, and now compete in mixed martial arts. I mean, I've always taught and coached ever since I can remember, because I was never the most gifted martial artist. I always struggled with competitions and fighting, so I had a shoulder problem since I was a very young boy. I'm a left-handed, so I normally fight southpaw, but my right arm was one of the issues. So Master Page taught me how to kick properly, and he developed me in such a way I never thought I'd ever be able to achieve anything in sport. And because he did that, I thought, well, maybe I could do that for other people. So I started coaching and teaching, and the more I trained, I qualified as a personal trainer. I learned about how to strengthen my shoulder, how I didn't have to, the doctors kept telling me I should never do sport, and I'll always have a problem, and I'll need my shoulder pinned and all this stuff. I strengthened it. I've never had an operation on my arm. It used to dislocate and all sorts of things, like quite regularly. Curtis used to put it back in for me. It's quite funny, scaring referees left, right and centre. And yeah, just as it came forward, I just thought, I can do that for other people. If I can't be a great champion, then maybe I can be a great coach. But then as time went on, as I've got older, I've realised I've won many titles in kickboxing, and like whether it's light points, full, whatever, and I've just proved over and over again that I can do this. So anyone that's able-bodied can. So for me, I love passing that on to people. I love watching people develop and grow. I get a lot of satisfaction of someone coming to me that might struggle with sport or confidence or something, and watching them develop. I just loved it. I started teaching. I had my own club when I was 17. I was teaching 3 times a week, just teaching 1 day of Laogar Kung Fu, like traditional, 2 days of kickboxing, and it just grew and developed and moved on. It was one consistent in my life ever since I can remember. It's always been something I've always done, I've always gone back to. I've taken breaks and always gone back to teaching. And it got to a point where me and my brother, just because he helped me teach and helped me run the classes, he was a police officer at the time, so we just sort of went, well, let's put our money where our mouth is. We had a chat with my instructor, and here we are. We opened the Richmond Academy. The proudest moment I think I've had here is when I realised I could train people to fight on an international circuit. Because that's any instructor, no matter what they're teaching, whether it's martial arts or otherwise, your goal is to always get someone to that world-class level. I've trained 5 world champions so far, and I've helped 2 other people from other schools that have come here. I've given them that little bit of extra. A little bit of extra push, a little bit of extra direction, a little bit of freshness to their fight that's helped them go on to achieve great things. My first world gold medalist here was Helen Bannon. She went out and after, I think she was only training for about 6 months here, and she used to do it on and off when she used to do at uni in Wales. And she did about 6 months here. She went out to a world championships and she won it in the semi-contact. The following year, we had a gold medal from Helena Martin. She won the gold medal for the Kashiki, which is like a full contact grappling and kickboxing, all meshed together, very strange style of fighting, but it was quite popular at the time. And she took 4 silvers at world level, like I said. It's funny, I've got more of my students that have won world titles than I've won. I've never won a world title. I've won Europeans, British, lots of high prestige events, but I've never won a world championship. But I seem to be able to create world champions. It is quite entertaining for me. Where I've been working with the kickboxing for so long, I can't take full credit for the kickboxing, because all I do is I teach what Curtis taught me. I don't change it, because British Laogar is in my opinion, a very complete kickboxing system, because it relies on timing, skill and movement, and not brute force and ignorance, as a lot of other systems do. No criticism to anyone else. It just works very well for me, and the results, you can see the results in any tournament. Most major full contact fighters at some point have been involved in British Laogar, and that speaks volumes. We've now got guys that are competing in MMA and grappling that are winning tournaments, winning titles, and they're doing really well at a good level, and I'm very happy about that. I'm very proud to say that these guys have come from my gym, and I'm just really happy that I've given that to them. It's essentially, I used to train with a really close friend of mine, Mark Lusher, who's a Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and Judo competitor, very much into the grappling. Big, heavy guy, 100 kilos, stereotypical Judo player, if you like. Very hard-headed as well, but he kickboxed too. And after a while, I got a little bit bored with kickboxing because I just wasn't pushing, I wasn't going to the next stage, and I'd plateaued a bit. And it wasn't because I was legendary, so I wasn't at all. I was just getting a bit bored. So I decided to do something completely different. I started doing judo with him, got the gi on, got thrown around like a rag doll up at the Budokai and down at Bussen in Twickenham for a little while. And I started getting into the jiu-jitsu as the MMA scene grew, and I had there was more and more shows popping up. We're talking like early 2000s, when it was, it was really starting to take off. I got offered a couple of MMA fights. I didn't know what MMA was. I thought, oh, it's guys in little gloves fighting. How hard can that be? My God, how wrong was I? And it became very apparent after watching a couple of the early UFC DVDs or videos, as they were at the time. I needed to learn how to fight on the floor, and I'd seen Royce Gracie win everything with this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu I'd never heard of. So I thought, well, I better find someone that teaches it then. So I didn't work it enough, but I did enough to have a basic understanding. Like I picked up guard and a couple of sweeps and a couple of submissions. I did my first MMA fight, and I won it. I won it by TKO, by luck more than anything else. It was a horrible experience, and I told myself I'd never do it again. As time went on, I learnt the ground game more and more. I learnt the wrestling more and more. I got more and more into it, and I thought, you know what, this is from kickboxing. It's the next thing that I can do. It's like being a beginner again for me. Like I've had people criticise me, oh, you're fighting the wrong people, you shouldn't be competing, they're better than you. Of course they're better than me, that's why I'm fighting them. There's no point, in my opinion, fighting someone you can wreck. You gain nothing by that. And this is my next controversial point, really. I'm getting really tired of hearing from gyms that have got amateurs that are 10-0 and semi-pros that are 9-1, and who cares? But then you look at who they fought, and they fought nobody. They fought guys that train once a week and do a little bit of training with their mates, and they're getting in a cage because they enjoy it. And these guys are training, other guys are training like professional athletes, and their coaches are hand-picking opponents. In my opinion, that's not a fight, that's a sparring round. And then what happens a lot, these guys will go pro eventually with this 10-0 record. They'll get matched up with another guy that maybe he's never been in a cage before, but maybe he's 10-0 in Muay Thai, or has got loads of BJJ experience, and they just get killed because they've never been under real pressure. I've been put on my back and ground and pounded and had to recover and protect myself against very good wrestlers. I've gone in there with guys that are 5-0 with no fear. I fought, before Pat Vickers went pro, I fought him semi-pro. He was 5-0 at the time, I think, and I took the fight on 3 days' notice. I'd trained, but not for him. I knew he was a better wrestler than me, and I knew the minute he hit the floor, I was going to be in trouble. I took the fight because I wanted to see how I would do. I wanted to see how I would handle it. Because it's amateur and semi-pro, it doesn't really matter. It's all about gaining experience. And I say the same to my guys. I always tell them, I'll never put you into a fight you're going to get injured in, or that you will get injured in. There's always a risk of injury. But I'll also never put them into a fight that they'll walk through either. Because I think it's more important to develop someone's heart and their warrior spirit as opposed to develop their ego. If you go into a cage with an ego, you're going to leave on your back eventually. Someone's going to outwork you, outmaneuver you, and beat your head in. And if you don't have the heart to push through it, then you can only get that by testing it and being put in under pressure. My K1 was, I kind of got into it by accident because I've always kickboxed with Master Page, where I started with the Lao Gar, and with the Lao Gar you do the kickboxing, and through the points and the light contact, like a lot of the freestyle guys came through. You end up being offered full contact events and things, and I just got offered a K1 fight. Took my first one. It was a last minute thing, and I put a good performance, but I lost it. But I quite enjoyed the freedom with the leg kicks and the knees and such. And I just continued doing it for a while until I broke my eye socket. And then I took some time off. I was quite young at the time. I was only 22, 23. And I took some time out, rethought things a little, and then came back into it gradually. And here I am, 10 years later.